Hello, everyone. My name is Edward Osredkar, and welcome to my YouTube channel talk show. This is a talk show where I interview various artists in the entertainment industry, and I have the extreme pleasure of talking with Zoe Gabrielle. She's an actress, singer, songwriter who also performs in her own music videos and will be performing in the film Coin Drop that is written, directed, and acted in by Chocolate Kea, whom I interviewed several weeks ago. She will also be talking about her newest musical release, Lonely Sad Girl, and her music video that was released earlier this year, Copy. So relax and enjoy my talk with Zoe Gabrielle. Hello, everybody. My name is Edward S. Redcar, and welcome to my YouTube channel talk show. And today I have the extreme pleasure of talking and interviewing Zoe Gabrielle. And how are you doing today, Zoe?
I'm good. I just want to start by saying I'm really excited to be here because I've seen Cho's episode and I've seen Nick's episode and I met them through Alpha NYC and now I'm here. So that's just it's cool. I don't know, it's just crazy.
Yeah.
But I'm doing
And
good. How are you?
good, good. And by the way, I met both Cho and Nick through Alpha NYC too. So
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah, small.
it's
Yeah.
like we're one big happy family here, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I usually like to start off with asking my guests some questions about how about how they got interested in acting. And my first question is that well, I'm going to do things a little bit different because I have a question that kind of piqued my interest when I was first looking at your Instagram page and your Facebook page and everything. And
Okay.
I noticed that
Mhm.
on your Instagram page, you mentioned that you're originally from Nebraska. And then I looked at your Facebook page and it says you're from Blair, Nebraska. And now that you're living in Aurora, Illinois, near Chicago. And
Mhm.
when I first seen that, my first question was, and I'll ask you that now, what made you decide to stay in the Chicago area since you went to Aurora University?
Mhm.
What prompted you to stay there?
Yeah, I would say the main reason why I moved was for school. I'm still in school right now.
Okay.
So I would say that was kind of the driving force. But since I started doing music after, like in the middle of college, like, it wasn't before, I think it all just weirdly kind of worked out, I guess. But it's been a great stepping stone for me. I'm not from a big city. I'm not from like a crazy big area or anything. So even even Chicago suburbs, it has definitely still been a huge like I don't know, good thing. It's really benefited me a lot. I've mainly just met a lot of great people in the industry, whether it's music or acting or even other stuff. So yeah.
Mhm. Uh-huh. So yeah, so a lot of times I think probably the best things in life sometimes they come unprepared, like you were saying that things just develop the way they turned out to be today. Probably not really planning the way things have turned out in your career and life, right? I mean, when you first started college.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. I've been into I guess like theater and just singing for a long time, but I haven't really ever wrote my own music until like a little more than a year ago. So it's all just really new to me. I feel like I definitely never thought I would, write my own songs. So it's definitely been a change, I
Yeah,
guess, but it's a good change.
yeah. Yeah. So going back to the question about moving to the big city
Hmm.
and everything, is there anyone that friends, family, or anyone that sort of ever made the same jump that you did from like the smaller town, like I know I come from a small town in upstate New York, and Um,
hmm
Probably you've had the same experiences about starting out in a small town and getting into the big city, the big city, Chicago, and things like that. Did it take you a while to kind of adjust your mindset, from the small town to the big city?
hmm kind of. I actually, I guess going back to the first question, I moved to the Chicago area and kind of, I don't know, like looked into it more because I do have family there. So, it's not like I'm just going there and I didn't know anything. I didn't know anyone. Like that
Right,
wasn't
right,
really
right.
my situation. But yeah, yeah, it was a huge change. It was definitely a little bit of a culture shock, I would say. It was a little bit scary,
Yeah,
but
oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah. But yeah,
yeah.
but it's good. I think it's something that I feel like everyone should at least consider or try. I think it's definitely changes you a lot
Oh,
to
it
move
does.
so far away from where you're from.
Oh,
And
it does.
sometimes it's for a good way and sometimes it's bad, but
Yeah. Hopefully, it's mostly or all good, right? For works out
hmm
all for the better. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah. So that I mean that was a really good thing that at least you knew people out there, and like you were saying, that you weren't just kind of just thrown in the water and say, okay, here's swim, here's the big city, and go do
hmm
what you have to do and learn all about the intricacies of the big city at the same time. So I mean probably
Yeah.
at least you had people to kind of show you the ropes along the way. I mean, when you first got there.
hmm Yeah, of course. And even outside of music and everything, I have a great social circle. I have great friends and just even meeting them through school. So
Oh
it's
yeah,
definitely been a good experience for me.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
hope it can be for everyone else that does the same thing.
Right, right. Oh, I mean, that definitely helps a lot having like a
Mhm.
strong social network and a good network that people that you can depend on, or if you have questions or you need advice or anything, it's always a good thing
Yeah.
to have them have your back that way instead of having you out there swimming alone in
Yeah. Right. Right.
in the big city waters. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah, I know my experience a few years ago. I went out to California, the LA area, and I was just kind of inquisitive out there, kind of testing the waters, the acting waters, and applied
hmm
like for a few auditions. One audition, unfortunately, happened to be during COVID, and it was like for a promotional commercial for some new like housing development in Southern California, and so. I had no idea that I would be working in a commercial like that out there. And so while I was out there, I seen the casting call for it, and I says, "Well, while I'm out here, I might as well audition for it." So I auditioned for it. I got the part, but unfortunately, it was the beginning of COVID. I got an email back the next day and said the shoot's canceled because of the pandemic started. So it's like, well, I gave it a shot, but but I'll be back. But it's just those
hmm
things of like you were saying, taking yourself up by your bootstraps and living your dream and doing what you want to do and things like that. So and
Yeah.
I mean things like that are they're definitely rewarding. And sometimes if things don't work out, at least you have the experience. You can try again like that.
hmm
Um,
Right.
so yeah. So since you were starting to talk a little bit about acting. Um, this is one of the questions that I always ask my guests. I mean, no matter who they are or how long they've been in acting or how short a time they've been acting.
hmm
You mentioned that you were acting in the monologue show or the Alpha NYC, and I know you've acted like in the monologue show and things like that. And
hmm
what exactly made you get interested in acting? I mean, what was the spark that, let's see, what did they say? What made you catch the acting bug? That's what I, that's what I want to know.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, wow. I would say I did competitive dance when I was younger until
Okay.
I was like in high school. So I think that that was really the thing that got me into like all aspect of the arts, you know what I mean?
Okay.
So I feel like I don't know, just learning all that stuff at such a young age and like how to do your like show makeup and just being on stage.
Right,
I
right.
just kind of fell into theater and into acting and I loved it. And then I feel like when COVID hit was when I started doing virtual stuff.
Yeah.
I think that monologue show was like my like second virtual thing I'd ever done.
Okay.
And it was
Okay.
great. It was cool. I was just like, wow, I can meet all these people and I feel like, this is I don't know. I feel like it was a little bit of a blessing in disguise. I think a lot of
Yes.
people would agree with that. Um,
Oh,
so
definitely. Yeah, I do. I'd agree. Sure. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. So, after that, like I did so much virtual stuff and it was awesome. I could act and then I could go play with my dogs, like just from home. So
Yeah.
it's been great.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I'll even add to that, like well, I've been in other things like besides Alpha NYC, but taking an Alpha NYC as an example, and you were saying go walking your dog and things like that. It would be like sometimes like during intermission, and you have what 15 or 20 minutes in between like first act or second act or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I can now what I can do is I can shut my camera off and I can shut the sound off. I can open my door over there, and my kitchen is only probably about 20 feet away. I think I'll go have some supper now. And
Yeah.
take 15 or 20 minutes, have a supper, a burger, or fries or something, or maybe even go out, to fast food and get, as long as you're back in time for the second act to start after intermission. And,
Hmm.
and yeah, no, that's a great benefit to it. I mean, that's one of the perks, I guess, is that
Oh
you,
yeah.
you have the leisure to go eat supper in your kitchen, or like you were saying, walk your dog and do whatever you have to do, in the time that you're
Yeah.
not on. Yeah. Yeah. So for Alpha NYC, you said the monologue show was your second show, was it? You said?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about the what was your first show with the Alpha?
Well, that was the only show I did with the Alpha, but I
Oh,
did a
okay.
few other virtual things, I guess. But
Okay.
yeah, that was the only show I did with them, but it was so great and I really did meet a lot of people
You do. Yes, you
through yeah, it's crazy. I honestly I didn't expect to and I was like, wow, this is awesome.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
but yeah.
Was Andrew James Blidner, was he's the director of the monologue show?
Yes, yes, and yeah, he was.
Yeah, yeah. Because
Mhm.
well, you probably heard of Elizabeth Aquino. She did a lot of directing too, and sort of
Mhm.
he was an assistant director for her. I know my first show with Alpha. It was the virtual Christmas Carol. I played the Ghost of Christmas Present, and that was my very first experience with Zoom. And I mean, it was like you were saying, it's just amazing the people that you meet and things like that. So in that show, Elizabeth Aquino, she was the director of it, and Andrew, he was the assistant director, but he also had a part in there where he played like a young Scrooge. So he sort
Oh,
of
okay.
had, yeah, so he sort of had like a dual role, assistant director, making sure all of us kids were in line, in the cast, and then also doing his thing, as young Scrooge like that. So and like you were
Hmm.
saying, you meet people from all over the world or all over the
Yeah.
place, country, world, or whatever. And uh, um, off the top of your head, can you remember maybe what cast member was like zooming the farthest away, or
Oh, that's a good question. Oh my gosh. I don't know. Um,
I mean, probably hundreds of miles away, which with Zoom,
yeah,
thousands. Yeah.
yeah.
But
Yeah, I'm not sure. I guess I never really thought about that, but now I'm gonna think about that whenever I'm in a Zoom like show or something.
yeah, 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 yeah,
But yeah, but I also I just think that it's so cool how sometimes they do that stuff too, like how Andrew like assistant directed and
yeah,
played. I think that's really cool for sure.
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. The only reason I asked you that question about how far away cast members are zooming from, I can
Hmm.
remember there was another show that I did with Alpha, and it was Lady Windermere's Fan, and I think the cast member that lived the farthest away was um, from South Africa.
Oh my God.
South Africa. He played one of the lead roles, and like with Alpha, our shows were like split. Like Cast A was what, maybe like 8 o'clock start, and Cast B on another was like 9 o'clock the next night or something like that. And so, uh, say for example, like for an 8 o'clock start, it was 8 o'clock p.m. our time here on in the East Coast, and he was zooming from South Africa, so he had to get ready for the show. I think it was like some ridiculous hour, like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. That he had to start the show at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. I mean his time, and of course, the shows last what, maybe about 2 hours. So by the time we were done, like New York time, East Coast time,
Mhm.
it was like what, 10 o'clock. So it's like he was ending his day at like what, 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. It was just like ridiculous. It's like, wow. I says that's dedication. Somebody that gets up and does the show 2 o'clock in the morning, and then doesn't uh, get to end his day until like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. And we were all really impressed like that, because I mean he always showed up on time, and being such a early hour in the morning. So he was he
Mhm.
was zooming from South Africa, and the other person was like all the way on the West Coast, not in the U.S., but he was in Canada. I think he was like coming from Calgary. So but I mean, it wasn't as a drastic time difference as
Yeah,
the fellow from South Africa. So yeah.
right, right.
So getting back to Zoom performances and everything like that. Um, do you feel that maybe with Zoom performances it kind of prepares people maybe a little bit better if they want to venture like into film, like movies, film, or something?
Hmm.
I was just wondering your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I feel like that's also a reason why I love doing Zoom stuff so much is because I mean, this is the first film I've done is Chose, but like I would love to, get more into it. But yeah, I think so. I feel like it's definitely, there's just pros and cons to a virtual production, and
Oh
there's
yeah.
pros and cons to a live production. So, but I feel like, yes, I think it does. I think it's a great thing for people that want to do film and camera work because you really do. That's essentially the type of, training you get for a virtual
Yeah,
show. It's like, oh,
right.
you have to know looking at the camera and everything. So, yeah, I think it prepares people well for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, yeah. I just want to add to that a little bit. Like the Zoom screen. Like if I look at my Zoom screen right now, I can only put my hands like that.
Yeah.
If I want to have a big gesture like that, I
Yeah.
mean, you lose my hands, you lose, most of my arms and everything. So I guess it sort of has a way of making like a mental note in your mind that, well, okay, I can only move my hands here. And if I want to gesture up, I can only, go as far as here. So it's like the limits of your acting, I guess the same with film or movie, it's like really small.
Hmm.
Like the motions are like really small, um, uh, as compared like with theater. Uh,
Yeah.
have you done a lot of um, on stage theater work besides Zoom when you first ventured into acting?
Oh yeah, definitely. That's kind of how I started in acting in general. I did theater um, in high school and theater in college,
Okay.
and
Okay.
mainly just like, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, that theater was honestly like it still is a big part of my life. I
Oh
feel
yeah.
like it was a transition from like doing dance and then like doing theater and then doing music. And I think theater is like the middle ground where it combines so many aspects of the
Oh
arts. So
yeah.
you can kind of pick out which one you like, I guess.
Right. Right. Or like
Mhm.
they say, if you have children, you love them all equally, not one not one more than the
Yeah.
other. So if you have a love for film and you have a love for theater, and like you have a love for dance and singing. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess it's fair to say that you love them all equally, right? And I mean, is that
Right.
kind of a fair thing to say about that?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I've never thought about that. Yeah, I feel like yeah, it's hard to spread yourself so thin sometimes. I think I found that when I was more like I want to be an actor and I want to be a dancer and I want to be a singer. Like I'm really not like that anymore, Like I have my acting life and I have my music life and
Right,
it's just,
right, right.
I don't know. But it's hard. It's definitely hard.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I know. Sometimes I get questions, like even online, like some of my Instagram followers. They're they're probably still in high school, or I don't know, maybe about to enter high school. And they're interested in acting and things like that. And they say, well, um, I'm interested in film. I like acting. I'm interested in film. What's the best way for me to enter into acting? And it's like, that's like a question. It's this,
Yeah. I
this,
know.
how do I get into, and I always tell them, if you're interested in film, and you probably found out the same thing, if you're interested in film, my advice to them always is to
Mhm.
start in theater, because that like gives you the basics of like character development, interacting with your say like a scene partner. And once you, well, not master it in the beginning, but once you get used to it and learn from it in the beginning, then maybe you can think about venturing into film, because it's like basically the same principles as theater acting, but like going back to what I said before, everything is like much smaller. You have like a much smaller area to act in, like with
Mhm.
the Zoom screen here, or like a movie screen or something like that. So I tell them, I says, get the basics from theater, and then if you choose,
Yeah.
go into film. So any any thoughts on that?
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. I think that there's kind of a like weird thing where people think theater acting and film acting is some like huge difference. And I mean I'm guilty of this myself. Like I know people that are like, I want to do film, but I don't want to do theater. Like I want to do film acting. And I think they're pretty much the same thing. I feel like theater teaches you how to just gives you the tools, and then film acting is like, okay, you have the tools, you just have to contain it now, and it has to be a little bit smaller.
Right,
um
right.
but yeah, no, I think that's great advice. Actually, I think every acting coach I've either watched or trained with, whatever, has said something like that. Or anyone, they're always like, yeah, just like start in theater, it really is great. And it is. So yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. So, like before, you were saying that when you first got into acting, you started like into high school productions, and then when you went into college, you went to college production.
Mhm.
Um, Outside of high school or college, were you ever involved in any community theater, like local community theater? Uh,
Mhm.
where you come from?
Um, I when I was in Nebraska in high school, I didn't really have time to do community theater, but I'm pretty sure my first virtual thing was with the Rose Theater, which is a community theater in Nebraska. So that was when I was like, I think right at COVID. So I think I was like,
Okay.
um, but yeah, no, it was mainly school stuff, but community theater, I've only done it virtually, so I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's an interesting fact. In fact, I don't know if we have anything like that around here, upstate New York, where I'm from. You were
Mhm.
saying you got involved in a community theater, and it was virtual. And I don't think that's something that I really haven't heard a lot
Mhm.
about, say, the the level of like community theater being involved in virtual. So that must have been a great help to you having uh,
Yeah.
a community theater where you could uh, do your acting
Mhm.
virtually. Yeah. Um,
Right.
are
Yeah.
do you know if there's like other community theaters, say in the greater area of where you're from, that do Zoom, virtual, or was it just that one that you were involved in, just that one?
Honestly, I don't know. I don't think so. I feel like theater now is, kind of getting a little bit back to
Mhm.
regular and everything's kind of just, not virtual anymore, but
Yeah, right.
definitely still have some virtual stuff. No, I did it with the Rose and it was a collection of like young playwriters and they had original pieces. So we kind of I don't know, we're just embodying the characters for them and everything.
Okay.
And we did a virtual performance and I don't know, at the time I was just like, okay, whatever, like I'm just doing this. And I don't know, it was really fun. And for our performance, I'm there, but like a lot of people like showed up. But yeah, it was, I don't know, it was cool and it was fun. And I wish I could say I have more community theater experience, but I think it's great for sure.
Right, right, right. Well, talking about theater and film and things like that, um, I'll bring up the subject of Chocolate Kaya's film that we started to talk a little bit about a little bit earlier.
Mhm.
So I see that you're acting and you're performing your music in her film Coin Drop, the film that she also wrote and directed, and also she has a role in, and also whom I interviewed about 3 weeks ago. So sticking with that subject, and without giving away too much information, because I asked the same question to Nick a couple,
Okay.
so that he wouldn't kind of divulge the answer to the movie. I'll ask the same thing of you. Without giving
Okay.
away too much information, can you just give us maybe a clue as to what type of music you're performing in that film, and maybe a little bit about what your character is about? Not
Hmm.
giving out too much information now.
I know, I don't want her to get mad at me. Um, well, my character, um, she is she's a cheerleader and she's a little bit stupid, but I think she has good intentions.
Okay.
So yeah, I guess I don't know. That's what I'll say about that. Um, but music,
That's good. That'll pass. I'll accept that.
yeah,
I think our
okay, good.
audience will accept that too.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I think music was kind of a different story. I knew that Cho was a fan of my music because I stayed in touch with her since Alpha NYC, and she she always, I don't know, like she always like, oh, like I love copy and everything. And if you ever like need help with music videos, whatever, like let me know, just stuff like that. And
Mhm.
um, I was like, if you ever want to use my music for a movie, you could use mine. And that
Right,
was the
right,
first time I really ever told anyone that. Like
right.
I was like, oh yeah, like, whatever. And
You never
she
heard?
actually took me
Yeah,
up on it. Yeah, she was like, okay, yeah, I'll put it in. And I was like, okay,
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
This is the first time I've acted in a film and my music's also in it, so it's
That's
kind of
great.
weird.
That's great. Well, yeah, I mean, it's a great promote. I mean,
Yeah,
it's a dual ticket. You're promoting your acting and you're
right?
promoting your singing at the
Yeah.
same time. Yeah,
Oh yeah, two for one deal,
yeah,
literally.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, it's gonna be great. And it's funny and it's I don't know. It was great. I loved it. And everyone else's scene is so wonderful as well. So
yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
I know. I enjoyed working with both Cho and Nick. What
Hmm.
probably about 3 weeks ago when we went to Boston and filmed some scenes there, and besides that, she asked me to film some scenes where I live, and like a self tape, like a audition self tape. So, in
Hmm.
addition to like the on location things that I did with her and Nick there, she's also going to use like the self tape to insert in the movie different scenes there. So, um, uh, uh, did you have to do anything like that?
Hmm.
Like a combination of on location and like submitted videos to, or was it, is it just all going to be like acting videos that you submit? How did it work out for you?
Hmm. So I did kind of a self-tape type of thing, but it was a pretty tedious process, I'm not gonna lie. It was kind of like, okay, she wanted us to submit like three different angles, I
Right,
guess,
right,
for
right.
every like line. So every line you do like three times, and then I would like edit the clips and send it off to her. So it was definitely like a self-tape, but a little bit different, I guess. But it was different. I don't think I've ever done anything like that. But
Uh-huh.
it was cool and it was great. Just going back to the virtual thing, it has its pros and cons. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I know, like you were going back to the fact that we had to make three different angles, like for each line, and really that's really no difference. Say, like if you're on an actual film set, like
Yeah.
they'll do three takes, maybe from three different angles, and it's always like the third take is for good measure, in case
Hmm.
the first two takes don't make the cut, well, we'll do the third take, just in case, we don't like the first two takes for that. So, but
Hmm.
uh, that's that's really good training as far as filming, don't you think? Like you
Hmm.
were saying, doing three different takes for each line, that sort of like teaches you about film, right? Doesn't it? Like
Hmm.
the filming process.
Yeah, definitely. I think doing virtual productions has made me so much better with technology also. Like I don't know. But yeah, I definitely think it helps for sure. And um I think that yeah, like that's important, kind of the whole different angles type of thing. You always want to have options and stuff to choose from. So yeah.
Right, 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 right. Yeah, yeah. I know.
Hmm.
It was a great experience, and I remember when she first posted about the movie, uh, uh, and I think I should say that the movie's name is Coin Drop. If I didn't already mention that,
Yeah.
I'd be remiss if I didn't say the name of the movie, but I'll say it again in case I didn't say it. Coin Drop. when she
Mhm.
first posted about the movie, uh, I think it was either like a regular post or an Instagram story post or something like that. And she showed her computer screen and the list of cast members that were in that. That it's like that blew my mind. It's like there was, well, you probably seen it too. There was probably what, maybe 20 names on it, was there? Like
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it was quite quite an extensive list of characters. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. So,
For
so
sure.
since you're also acting, besides your singing in the film, um, I'll ask you this: how, since I asked you how you got into acting, and you were saying acting and dance and everything, how
Hmm.
did you get into singing?
Um, Singing, I guess, I've just kind of been singing my whole life. I think songwriting is different, but I would say singing. Um, I don't know. I guess I always loved music, and I think it kind of ties into theater as well. And I
Right,
always
right.
just loved singing, and yeah, I don't know. I think I kind of just thought to myself, like, yeah, I like to sing, but I could never write my own music. Like I just refused. I didn't even try. But then I think that can of worms opened and it was just like, okay, there's no going back from here. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Just like the acting bug, when you get bit by the acting bug, or I don't know if there's a singing bug, once that
Hmm.
bites you,
Yep.
you gotta you gotta go back for more. It's just something
Yeah.
about it, which you would probably agree that it just draws you in. It's like you feed off of it, just
Right.
um, like for me, I don't know if you feel the same way about it or if anybody else does, but with acting, to me, it's just as natural as breathing. It's like
Hmm.
can't go through a day without breathing. Well, you can't go through a day without acting.
Right.
Of course, not every day, but
Yeah.
throughout the course of your life like that. So,
Hmm.
um,
For sure.
well, since you explained to us about how you got into singing and that facet of your career, um, I noticed that on your Facebook page that you had a Facebook post about the song that you both wrote and performed, "Lonely Sad Girl," and I thought it was kind of interesting that in that post you went on to explain that you actually wrote that song of yours in your college study room. That's
Yeah.
true?
Yeah, mainly. Hmm.
Okay, okay. And it said that you posted about it that it came from a core memory of yours about eating kimchi.
Hmm.
And let's see, I've never had it myself. I've never had, excuse me, I never had personally had kimchi myself, but um,
Yeah.
actually, I had to look this up. I mean, no lie. I actually had to look this up.
Yeah.
I had to Google it like I have to Google many things. Uh,
Right.
but this here in particular, it's kimchi is like a cabbage or like sauerkraut. Is that what it is?
Yeah, pretty much. I think there's a lot of different flavors, I
Okay.
think. Yeah, the first time I had it was like not too long ago, was like
Okay.
kind of having to do with the song. So I definitely know what you mean. I had no idea what it was either. So yeah, but yeah, it's like a cabbage kind of type
Okay.
of thing.
Okay.
Hmm.
Oh, so it's sort of like a cabbage that's like really shredded up. I mean, before you eat it, it's sort of like shredded up like coleslaw, something like that, before you make the kimchi dish, or
Hmm.
how does it work?
Hmm. Well, I feel like it can be in a lot of things. I know you can just buy it and like eat it like a coleslaw or something, but
Okay,
I know you
okay.
can also put it in ramen. I think that was the first time I had it was at a ramen restaurant. Like it was in the ramen. Um,
Okay.
just stuff like that.
Okay.
So yeah.
So now that we all know what kimchi is, and you explained
Right,
to all
right.
of us what kimchi is,
Yeah.
uh, what is it about kimchi that inspired you to write Lonely Sad Girl? I'm really interested to know how that all came about.
Hmm. Yeah, I think um I always laugh because the hook of that song is it's like when we sat eating kimchi, rearranging the songs for this EP, and people are like, "How did you get the inspo for that? Like, did that happen to you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I wouldn't be able to think of it if it didn't." but but yeah, it was I don't know. I think there was an aspect of it where the like core memory that I was thinking about when me and this other person got takeout was the same restaurant where I had kimchi for the first time, which wasn't that long ago. So I
Okay.
think that kind of like sparked something in my head. And I was like, oh, and like rearranging the songs for the EP, like that's a fun little play on words. Like I love that.
Right,
And
right.
yeah, I don't know. I thought it was cool and it was like really specific, and I think it's a line that it stuck with a lot of people.
It
You
does.
know,
It does. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
like throughout the whole song, it's kind of like I don't
No.
know, it's interesting.
Yeah,
And I always, I'm a foodie. I love food.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah. Well, I think you picked a good word, kimchi, because that's like you were saying, that's not a word that very many people talk about every day, or maybe even think of, or like myself,
Hmm.
never hearing about it before. So
Yeah.
that was a real good hook to make the song around.
Hmm.
I think it probably would be it was a better thing for you to sing about kimchi than to try to sing about sauerkraut. I don't think that would I don't think that would go over the same
Yeah,
way.
I
It's like
maybe.
yeah.
Yeah. I know. I feel like I'm like the face of kimchi now or something. I get messages literally every day, and people are like sending me pictures of kimchi.
Yeah. And I think the kimchi people are very appreciative that you put their kimchi in your
I know.
song
I
too,
need to get a brand deal. Right. That's what I'm
Like
saying.
it's like, my God, where are all these sales come from? Oh, it's Zoe.
I
She's singing
know.
about kimchi. No
Yes.
wonder we're making money hand over foot,
Right.
thing like that.
Right.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
going up ever since the song released.
yeah. Could I ask you maybe to sing a cappella, maybe a few bars of kimchi for our viewers? Could I?
Sure.
Yeah,
Do you want me to sing like that same part?
sure, sure. Whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever you want to sing. Few bars of whatever you want to sing.
Okay. Oh gosh. Let me think. Okay, so it's like, um, when we sat eating kimchi, rearranging the songs for this EP, you said, don't forget this night on the floor, eating this takeout that we can't afford. Okay,
Oh,
I'll
that's
stop.
great.
Yeah, that's the whole, that's the little,
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's the song there. It has a nice like up and down melody. It's like sort of flows like one
Hmm.
into the other. It's not too extreme in the highs or the lows. It just kind of flows. It's like a song you could keep listening to. Or I think it's a song that probably now, once that I hear it now, I probably won't be able to get it out of my head now, just like
Hmm.
with the like commercial jingles or something like that. So
Yeah,
it's catchy. It gets your attention. It's got just I guess what I'm trying to say, it's just got the right kind of notes in it. That's all. I mean, not
yeah,
being a musician
sure.
myself, but being a
Mhm.
professional listener, but not a professional musician. But
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So no, geez, yeah. Thank you for singing a few bars of that there, and
Mhm.
I think the viewers are going to want more, and go to your site to find out where they can hear the whole thing. Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Um,
For sure.
so in addition to Lonely Sad Girl. Um, I also uh, did a little background information searching, and I see that you earlier this year that you had the music video copy
Mhm.
come out earlier this year. So, what uh, what was your inspiration for that music video, that song copy?
Mhm. Um, I think the team, I think Trey and Tony and the people that were on like the team for making the music video, we did a lot of collaborating with what to do and everything. But I don't know. I think it was the song was doing really well and I was like I really want to make a video. I don't know. And I think with the song and the style, I could kind of just like pull um a lot of visual ideas from it, just like the song itself.
Okay.
And um, yeah, I guess it was mainly just the song. Like I just was like, ever since I made the song, I was like, I can really like visualize this um, for a video. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And so I went on Pinterest and I was like, let me make a board real quick. So yeah.
So that was your first venture into music videos, the video copy?
Yes, it was.
Okay, okay, okay. So that probably wants you to make more music videos. Are our viewers going to be seeing more of them from you in the future then?
Hmm. Probably not in the near future, but definitely in the future.
Future,
I
okay.
it was super fun. I would 100% make a music video again. It's a tedious process for sure. But it's great. It really is. It's definitely worth the blood, sweat, and tears.
Right.
So yeah, for
Right,
sure.
right, right. So that goes back to what we were talking about quite a while ago about all of either performing or performance passions for a performance. Let's see, you have what? You have your acting, you have your singing, you have your dancing, you have your video making. So that's five children right there, and each of those
Yeah.
five children you love equally, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I do. That's a lot of kids, I'm not having any more. So, so yeah, yeah, it's definitely, I don't know. I guess I've dabbled into a lot of stuff and it's so interesting because there's pockets of stuff with each. So it's like acting is like, okay, cool, but there's so much to it. Like there's commercial, there's um like film, there's theater, there's so much stuff. So it's definitely a lot of opportunity within every aspect of art, I think.
Yeah, yeah. So I guess it would be fair to say that with all of your five children dancing and acting and this and that, it's like, would it be fair? Would it be fair for me to say that in each of those passions of yours, like the basis of each of them is acting? Is that, a fair statement to say? where
Yeah,
where they
I
can
so.
blossom from like the
Mhm.
seed of acting is the seed, and then it branches out into the dancing plant or the video plant or the singing music plant. Is
Yeah.
that fair to say?
Yeah, I think definitely. Even with music, with songwriting, there's an aspect of, writing about how you feel, but there's also an aspect of writing how through someone else's eyes. Like,
Yeah,
essentially you're always playing a character when you're on stage, even if you're doing your own music, you're still,
yeah,
you know what I mean? So I think for sure acting is kind of a baseline thing because I also think with that acting is I think there's like I feel like you would get this. There's an aspect of acting where it's like to be a better actor, the more you just experience life and the more you just kind of like meet people and
yes,
just, be a normal person, it makes you a better actor. It really
right,
does.
right,
So
right.
I think that it's a I don't know. It's a baseline craft that I think is for almost every aspect of the arts, in
Yeah.
my opinion, at
Yeah,
least.
yeah. I mean, I totally agree with that. I'm totally on board about that, about life being a teacher and different experiences that each of us has in life can fuel our our knowledge of acting. Because like I don't know if it's the same with you, but like with me, like sometimes when I'm approaching a role, and every time you have a different role, it's like there's always a different journey to get there to the role that you want to create. But
Yeah.
sometimes, as with me, if I'm creating a role and I start to read the dialogue that my character is involved in, I'll say to
Hmm.
myself, hey, that reminds me of so and so that I knew 5 years ago. And so I
Yeah.
go with that. And it's like, well, all I have to do is play that person. And that's who I want this character to be. Um, as long as it's, agreeable with everybody else, the director and casting and things like that. And
Hmm.
sometimes that makes it uh, a little bit more easier that you have your acting, the background of your life to kind of fuel your acting like that. And yeah, no, I'm glad that you brought that up because that reminded me of my experiences too. Yeah, yeah,
Hmm. Definitely.
yeah.
Yeah, sure.
So now let's see. We've talked about your acting and your dancing and your singing and your videos and your all of your performing everything.
Hmm.
And now, one of the important questions that I would like to have you answer to leave our viewers with. You
Okay.
have on your Instagram page, uh, the highlights section on your
Yeah.
Instagram,
Hmm.
and your highlight is about food.
Right.
What's your favorite food, or what are your favorite foods? Because I know that you highlighted about your favorite foods. So I says, if there's one thing that I have to ask Zoe before we end our
Yeah.
interview, I says I got to ask her about food. Go.
Okay, great. Most important question.
That's
I
good.
well, probably the hardest one also. Um, I don't know. I love sushi. I think sushi is probably my favorite food.
Okay.
Um, I love uh I don't know. I love hummus. Also, that's really weird. People are gonna be like, what? I love hummus, like carrots and hummus.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. I've never really tried hummus. I mean, I like carrots, but
I say
I'm
I think that it's more of my favorite snack, but
okay.
yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
I enjoy it.
Sort of like a spread, use it as a spread
Yeah,
instead of like peanut butter or
yes.
something like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But ooh, I'm trying to think of like sweet stuff too. Probably tiramisu. I love tiramisu.
Okay.
That's probably my favorite dessert. But what about you? I feel like I should ask the question back, you know?
Let's see. I like naturally, I like like burgers and fries and things like that. But I
Mm-hmm.
like a nice uh, top round from sirloin. I like to do a little cooking on the side, and I love to eat a steak like that. I have a crock pot, and what I do is I've I've um, I've seen a lot of recipes of that, and a lot of times if you make tenderloin from top round, sometimes no matter how you cook it, it's going to come out like a piece of leather. So I kept searching and
Yeah.
searching and searching and searching. Google again, of course. Thank you. And I came upon this recipe where you can skip all of the steps. You don't have to put it in the oven and flip it over, just so many minutes this side, just so minutes this. All you have to do is you put it in a pan with oil and you put it on top of your oven and you braise it on one side, and then for a few minutes you flip it over and you braise it on another side, and as soon as it's braised on both sides, you stick it in a crock pot and you mix it with like a chicken broth, and you put all your spices and ingredients and everything. But you have to make sure that you marinate it overnight. Like what I like to
Mhm.
do is I'll put it like in a plastic bag with like vinegar and oil and different spices. Put it in the fridge overnight. Kind of get it nice and soft like that. You put it in a crock pot after you braise it on each side in a pan. You leave it in there for 8 or 9 hours. Put it on low. You can break it
Mhm.
apart with a fork. You don't even need a so that
Wow.
so that's if you ever want to try it, use a crock.
Yeah. I think there should be a cooking show in the near future. I think that's your next destiny.
There could very well be. It's funny that you should mention it because last year I sort of had the beginnings of a cooking show, like a Halloween cooking show, but I didn't go through with the whole cooking show on air because there was like a ghost in the kitchen, so that kind of scared me a little bit. So I had to end the show quick. I put
Oh,
that on the video.
wow.
I also
Yeah.
had a how to make the complete Thanksgiving dinner video. I also put that out. But at the time, I was invited to a relative's house, so I didn't have time to make the meal. But I told people how to do it in case they wanted to do it. But I didn't have any ingredients. I just had empty pots and pans. So I says, if I were to do this, this is the pot that I'd use, or this is the pan that I'd use. But
Mhm.
no, that could be very well in my future. So
Nice.
and if I do have that, maybe you could give me a recipe to
I
make
will.
a show.
I will. I definitely will. You'll have to use kimchi though. I'll give you a I'll
There
give
we
you a
go. There we go back to kimchi. No,
yeah,
I
exactly.
yeah, no, I've never tried it, but I mean, you piqued my curiosity about
Right.
kimchi
Hmm.
because I like sauerkraut and coleslaw, so that's just the next logical step in it there. So, but
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
so now that we have ended the show on the important question about food,
Mhm.
I'd really, really like to thank you for being on my show today, Zoe. It's been an absolute pleasure and really, really fun to talk to you about all facets of your career, things on stage and off things like that. And thank you very much for being on my show today.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun. So thank you.
Yep, yep. I think our viewers had just as much fun listening to us as we did talking to each other.
Yeah,
So
right.
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
okay, well, thank you very much again. And my name is Edward Osredkar, and you have been listening to my YouTube channel talk show with my talk with Zoe Gabrielle today. And I hope you will stay tuned for more upcoming shows with many, many more interesting guests, such as we've had Zoe today. And have a good day and take care.